Alright, so I had another TV show that I wanted to talk about today. Uh, I wanted to talk about season 2 of the OA, or I suppose it's just called the OA Part 2, whatever. It's the second season. It's a Netflix exclusive, or Netflix original, whatever they call it. And I did see the first season when it aired, or maybe a little bit after it aired. I don't really remember. It was a while ago. I think it was like 2016 or something. I wasn't even sure if they were going to be making another season. I kind of felt like the first season ended in a way where you could have left it alone, or but I saw where they had room to go forward after season 1. And so I suppose I was looking forward to season 2, and I did enjoy season 2 for the most part. There were a lot of things I liked. There were some interesting turns that it took, some stuff I wasn't expecting. Uh, and there were kind of like two storylines going like parallel to each other, I suppose. And for a while, I kind of felt like, why are we having this storyline? How does this fit in? And it was nice when that finally started to, connect to the other storyline and things started to diverge. But I will say, the second storyline, I think that was a really good storyline. I felt like it could have been its own TV show or its own movie. And I'm not going to talk spoilers, but for anybody who's seen the show wants to know specifically what I'm talking about, the whole storyline with the house and the new character they introduce, who's like investigating the house, I feel like that could have been a really good TV show on its own, or a really good, movie with maybe like a sequel too. So it was nice to see when that finally started to connect to the main story that we are more familiar of, the storyline that kind of continues from season 1 and where they left it, which I was kind of surprised about where they went with this. I don't know if I should have been, because like I said, I don't remember much about season 2. I remember enough so that I don't remember much about season 1. I honestly remembered enough about season 1 so that I remembered enough so that I wasn't like confused, like what's going on, who's this person, who's that person. So they took it down a certain way for season 2, and I'm not sure if that was like hinted at in season 1, like, oh, this is what they're gonna do. And so when I saw the trailer, and this isn't a spoiler, when I saw the trailer and the trailer said that they were dealing with parallel universes, alternate realities, what have you, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't expect that, so I don't know if I should have expected that or not, but whatever. And it started to get a little strange, and here's my thing. I don't mind strange, I don't mind weird, I don't mind nonsense for the sake of nonsense. I mean, I love Twin Peaks, and that's like some of the weirdest shit there is. But the difference is, it doesn't feel like the OA earned their nonsense. You have to earn it, you have to build to it. It's gotta work. You can't. You either gotta start with nonsense or build up to nonsense. So, like, for example, season 20 or whatever of Grey's Anatomy, they can't just introduce time travel and aliens. Doesn't work. You got to either build with it or start with it. I mean, build into it or start with it. I mean, you get what I'm saying. It didn't really feel earned, I suppose. And there was some stuff that just really got me. Like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? Uh, Again, not gonna spoil anything, but there is a character introduced in the show who goes by the name Old Knight. And when they introduced this character, and we saw what the character does and what happens with this character. It's like, oh my goodness, well, what is going on with this show? It was too much for me. It was just too much for me. You know, it's different because you kind of have to, you learn to expect it from some shows, and I wasn't expecting it from this show. It just wasn't earned, so it didn't work. It just felt like super weird. And honestly, as things started going further along in the season, and things just started getting weirder and weirder, I was like, this is not the show that I feel like it is, or it signed up for. Then they had the very final episode and the very final scenes and moments, the last twist, so to speak. And then it kind of won me back again, like, okay, this is interesting. We're going in an interesting direction here, and this could be cool to watch. So it really did win me over in the last like 20 minutes of the show with what they do. So it won me over, but then the first thing I thought of was like, wait a second, Netflix, you did basically the exact same thing in another show. Like, you think I'm not going to notice that, but I did. This isn't going to be like a trend, is it? Because it was neat and gimmicky when you did it in the other show or movie, which I had a nice review for that show or slash movie on Netflix, but it never got out. It's another one of those lost reviews of mine. But it's another. Again, I don't want to say too much, but what they do in the end here is similar to what they do in an episode of Black Mirror. And since there's a lot, I feel like that's being vague enough. There's a lot of Black Mirror stuff, so that's being vague enough. And they did it again. I'm just kind of like, I noticed that. I picked up on that. You're gonna keep doing stuff like this? Because I'm not, I didn't sign up for that. So, but it did leave some interesting implications on where we could go for season 3. If they make a season 3, I don't know how this season has been received. I don't know if people liked it or not. Who knows if it makes money, because Netflix never tells you that stuff. So there's really no way of knowing what's going to happen with the show on Netflix, unless it's like insanely popular, like Stranger Things. I feel like that's the only thing on Netflix that is like guaranteed to see its time. Stranger Things isn't going to get canceled or whatever, because Bloodline got canceled, and that really did surprise me, because Bloodline was a very high quality show, in my opinion. I think it was one of their best shows on Netflix. But that did get canceled, so you never really know what's going to happen with Netflix. And I think Orange is the New Black got canceled too. You just never really know with Netflix, so again, who knows what's going to happen with the season 3, if we'll get a season 3. I guess it's just honestly going to be a waiting game. We'll see what happens now that the show's kind of, the second season is kind of done with, I suppose. By now everybody's caught up, because not everybody watches the whole show in 2 days like I do. So, but we'll see what happens, I think, and maybe we'll get a season 3. If we do, I'll definitely check it out, and I'll be looking forward to it somewhat. I just would hope that they reel it in a little bit. I don't want them to continue diving off the deep end. Or, well, I suppose they could if they wanted to, but they can't dive even deeper, because they haven't earned that. I suppose they earned a dive in season 3 with what they did in season 2, but it's still not completely there yet, in my opinion. So I'll be looking forward to it. I'll check it out if they make a season 3, and until then, I will see you guys next time.